let's. How annoying has the press tour for Paper Tiger been? Because everyone's like, "Hey, Bill, what do you think about cancel culture?"
There's been moments of that, and then mostly not. It's funny. I found more guys talking about it than the female reporters or whatever. And I guess I did a radio tour, and there was just one person by the third one. Some woman, I was doing a radio thing, and she was just like, "So you did it at Royal Albert Hall in London. How much fun was that? It looked beautiful." I'm like, finally, somebody who get it. Yeah, it was just all about, having a good time and trying a new venue and taking a chance by going over there. And most of the special was about me being an idiot and trying to clean up my act so I don't, screw up this great thing that I have with my wife and kids. So,
But that's not what the media were.
I had nine questions about PC culture for you.
Most people. I mean, I'm sure you guys exist in the same sort of world that I do. That there's this, there's this one thing that's being asked, and then there's what's people are really feeling. So it's sort of this weird. Like I always compare it to the last election where they sort of misread where people were at. I understand why the cancel culture people are doing what they're doing. Their hearts are in the right place. It's just the way that they're going about it.
The execution, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, telling a stupid joke is a long, long ways away from taking your dick out at work. I mean, I think I could say that, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I don't know how you somehow get lumped into that, where it's just like, how could you?
Right.
In front of all those adults
Right.
who watch online porn and tell that shit joke.
I think the mediums in which people are disagreeing now actually has a very big effect on this, because it could just be a disagreement. Somebody being like, "Hey, I didn't like that joke," and that should be the end of it. But if it's a famous person or somebody with a check mark tweeting, "Hey, I didn't like that joke," to a comedian, all of a sudden now it becomes a story. And there are blogs written about it.
I have to be honest.
And you can disagree with people about what's funny, what's appropriate, and what's not, but it didn't used to have that long tail on it.
It's not really even, at this point, even worth talking about anymore. I think it's sort of adjusting back, and I think
it is.
It was bad in the beginning that all, people were doing what they were doing, and there was no way to tell people about it. Now there is. There was a little bit of an overcorrection, and now I think it's just going to come,
The pendulum has swung back, for sure.
But it can't go all the way back.
Right.
Just to like more of a, you don't listen to people for hundreds of years or something. The cork has to fly off the bottle first, and then it's got to swing all the way this way, and then it's got to gradually, come back to like, a place where now you're aware that this stuff goes on. You're going to listen to people, and then you'll take the proper channels to figure out if whatever went down, and then it did. These are the punishments, and then that's it.
Yep.
But other than that has nothing to do with being a stand-up comedian.
Okay, so how was Royal Albert Hall? And you are a venue guy. You've been to venues not only as a stand-up comedian, but we talked last time you were on about all the different stadiums you've been to. Where does it rank?
Oh, Jesus.
It would have been great if you were like 57.
I have 57, and I'll tell you why.
You're my top 56.
I would say that one was probably the top, just because it was past Carnegie. I can't believe I can have this conversation with you. It was past that, in that it was another country's Carnegie, and all those people showed up, and I was taping a special, and it just, the whole thing, the way it worked out, and the way Mike Binder shot the thing, it was really like everything just came together that night. So I would say that, but there's different reasons to like a venue. I would say the first Rough and Rowdy that I did with you, is one of the top venues, because that's the house that Ric Flair built.
House that Ric Flair
so
built.
there's different reasons to like stuff.
Where was that?
Charlotte,
North
Carolina.
Yes, Charlotte.
Well, you know what
North
I was
Carolina.
just watching? I didn't have time to see where it was. I was watching every 4 years. I'll watch The Undertaker versus Mankind, Hell in the Cell.
Yes.
And just as far as working a crowd at all costs, when Mankind gets up off the stretcher,
I thought he died.
yeah, and I totally bought in.
Yeah.
I totally bought in. That even every time I watch it, he sells it so hard, you buy in. You know he's still got her, but when he gets back up and slowly starts picking up speed and has that crazy smile,
He does that rumble. Yeah.
Every time I watch it, die laughing, applauding.
Yes.
Going, this is working a crowd at such a masterful level. And even like you watch how The Undertaker, when he really knows he hurts him, he'll take a couple of bumps to give him a break or miss a move. Just the artistry of what went on that night. And like, I just love people that like make fun of wrestling. Like, oh, you know it's fake. It's like, you know a movie's fake, but if it's done right, you go along for the ride.
Yes.
Right? And like, I don't think it's ever been done better than that. So whatever. And I was thinking, was that in Mellon Arena? Was that where the Penguins used to play?
I think so. Yeah, the Igloo.
Cool.
Right?
That's cool. So, well, because it was in Pittsburgh, and I'm thinking how big wrestling was. I don't know where it is right now, but how big it was then. That was when The Rock and Stone Cold and everybody. So they were playing, you know, all the arenas.
Also, the place for, what was that Jean-Claude Van Damme movie? Was it Jean-Claude Van Damme movie? The Face Off? No, not Face Off.
Not Face Off. That was Travolta.
The movie where
Double Team.
where they were playing.
Dennis Rodman.
No, they had to like stop a bomb at the Igloo, a hockey game.
Shit, I don't know.
All right,
I think you just wrote a movie. It sounds good. You in?
It sounds like
know some powerful
that's a
people.
reboot.
Yeah.
Huh?
Can we get that made?
I don't know, but I love how you guys, how into the system you guys think I am. Hollywood Bill.
yeah,
Hollywood
you're
Bill.
Hollywood Bill.
Hey,
you know people.
I'm gonna green light a couple of
Don't
projects.
do that.
Yeah,
You wore your
Netflix.
tracksuit that made you look like, oh, I just put this on. We know you got a tuxedo under that thing.
No, there's a reason I'm wearing this. I'm finally doing my two of my buddies got a podcast at Historical Hyenas, and they're like Bay Ridge, Brooklyn guys. So what a homage
nice.
to them. And then I was coming up here. I'm like, oh wait, you got that tracksuit January.
January.
Yeah,
Yes.
January. Yeah. So I was just like, oh, so
It looks
this is
good.
God, yeah, it's very comfortable.
It always,
Oh, it's
whenever
the
you wear a
greatest.
tracksuit, everyone's you kind of carry like a, I don't know, like a weight to you where everyone looks at you like, what's that guy's deal?
I was walking down the street.
Yeah,
this
like a
morning.
little
Is he bookmaking?
there was
Yeah.
sinister.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a scumbaggery.
You got
that
some-
You it ups your level of respect. Plus, also brings it down on an
right.
evil level.
But no one will fuck with you.
Yeah.
Like you could just walk around. You're just walking into a Starbucks and everyone's like, okay,
Yeah.
well,
Women
that
are like,
guy-
I'm not dating that guy, and guys are like, I'm not fucking with that guy.
Yeah, right,
But you're getting what you want. You're
Yes.
getting a reaction.
I also think if you're rocking a tracksuit, yeah, somebody does think you're up to something. I was walking past a dude this morning. He was standing on the stoop of a barber shop, just smoking a cigarette in a tracksuit. And I was like, that guy's running numbers. I'm convinced of it.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
convinced.
Gotta have the wife being around
Yeah.
underneath it.
He
though.
doesn't have a job, but he's got a really strong side hustle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
which is almost more intimidating.
Yeah.
I want to talk.
And he's winning because
Right.
he's
Yes.
out on a stoop in the middle of the day. Everybody's hustling to work. He's having a
He's
cigarette.
just chilling.
chilling.
Yeah.
Enjoying
Nowhere
himself.
to be. He's on his own time.
Something to aspire to. Can we agree?
Yes.
We can agree?
Yes. I want to talk real quick about doing your special in England. What was your decision-making process? Why were you like, I want to go overseas to film this?
Because I plan on doing a bunch of these, and each one has to be a little bit different, or it just becomes, I don't know, too much of the same thing, I would think. So I've done some in the West Coast, the East Coast. I did a couple down south. It's like, where do I do this next one? It was a big risk because so much of it was about here. Obviously, I live here, and I was just like, but I always wanted to perform there, and I performed there last year, and I went up there, and I'm such a Zeppelin fan, and I and love John Bonham and stuff, and that's my favorite concert footage of theirs at Royal Albert Hall, and it still basically looks the exact same. And that when I did that first show last year, as much as I had a good set and I had a good time, the whole time I wasn't quite present because I was like, oh my God, this is it. I am on stage here. John Bonham's drums were right there. I'm standing where Robert Plant was. I couldn't get out of my head. I felt like I won like a radio contest. You know, go meet your favorite football player and you totally clam up and don't know what to say. And so it felt a little bit like that. So, but afterwards, you know, and my reps all came over because they wanted to, you know, check out the place. And then they were all kind of like, this fucking place is beautiful. Obviously, you know, Americans, right? I never heard of this place, right? This place is beautiful. You should do a special. And I was like, do you think I could? And they were like, yeah. And it scared the shit out of me because I knew I had this great hour. And I was like, what if coming over here fucks the whole thing up? But I couldn't resist how good looking it was. So I had this healthy sense of excitement and fear going the whole way over. And I just did some tune-up gigs before I went over there because you just have to get into
How many does that
to
usually
their
take?
vibe. Well, I did the Liverpool gig first where I got this hat. I lose hats all the time. This one I've been hanging on to for a minute. So I did that one first. And that was a good show. And then the next one went okay. And then the next one was good. Then the next one was good. And then the next one was great. So it's always kind of the first one always goes well because I'm just, okay, I'm in England, all right? fuck it, boom, I do it, or I'm wherever. But then the next one, you go on stage and you're like, okay, how did I do this last night? So now you're not present. So it just puts you like that half a beat behind, and then it starts not going well. And then because you're in England, rather than just being like, all right, I need to fucking get this going, you start thinking like, oh, fuck. Was last night lucky? Do they not find me funny in England? And then you can start doing the death spiral. So there was a little bit of that for a few minutes, but I've just been doing it long enough to know how to get out of that. And
so you still do go into that every now and then.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The night, we taped back-to-back nights instead of doing 2 in one night. What you want to do is 2 in one night because you do your little BP on the first one, and then the second one you swing out of your cleats, and then usually how I do it is I take the better of the two, and then there's always something I got to like cut out because it goes too long. So what I use, it's almost like a parts car. If you watch those guys where they buy 2 and they just cannibalize all the parts, you just take like 2 little clips so you can take something out and just stick that, because I don't want to have like jumping back and forth, because even if people don't know you did that, it's gonna feel that, because all crowds have a different vibe. And it's like you're going to be like, left speaker, right speaker, left speaker, right speaker. It's going to fuck it up. So you have to. It's got to seem like have a flow to it, I think. So I don't know. That's basically how it went.
You got to change any of your stuff up when you go overseas. Like there's certain things that you can't talk about in London that they won't understand that might be part of your normal act in America.
If I was to just walk down the street and talk to somebody in London, yes. If you're going to my show at this point, because I've been over there enough times, they're into what I do. Yeah. So all I'm taking is a couple thousand people that listen to the podcast and get me. They come in there. But that is not a good indication of if I was just to stand out on the street and just pull a crowd in a park like a street performer, there would be a lot of people like, like they wouldn't have any idea what I was talking about.
Right.
Not like totally, but but like, So there was a few things I had to change. Like instead of saying Stedman, I had to say Oprah Winfrey's husband, which ended up actually being funnier because I wasn't even doing the man the respect of saying his name.
Right. That's disrespectful.
Right.
That's like calling her Zach Ertz's wife.
Right.
Yeah, it became more absurd. The whole thing became more absurd. And fortunately, most people who watched it really got it. And, and then there's just the normal, I didn't like it, so I didn't watch it. And then there's the, I loved it, so I watched it. And then the stuff we were talking about earlier.
Right.
I didn't like it, therefore you should change the whole thing so I can enjoy it.
Change
next
everything
time.
about
yes.
you. Where was the college football trip this year?
It's this weekend. It's Clemson, which I was so excited about, but Florida State stinks.
Yeah.
Clemson's a little weird,
That's
too.
one of
Have
those
you been?
games.
Oh, it's Clemson? Oh.
Have you been?
Oh, spoiler
you're going
alert.
To Tallahassee?
What are you going to do now?
No, I liked it.
There's a rock.
Didn't I came here, I was in a good mood,
You know what? I liked it.
You'll have a good time.
That was good.
I took time off.
Wait, you're going to Clemson,
from
right?
my
Not
tremendously
Tallahassee.
busy Hollywood schedule of green lighting things.
I liked it. I shouldn't say that.
In my tracksuit.
I liked it.
That's, you know what? Like, you guys big on the pizza here. Never tell somebody where you're excited to go get a slice from. Don't ever fucking do that. Someone's going to ruin it for you.
Okay, here's something. Do you have any people, Hollywood Bill? Do you know anyone at Clemson that can take you through the facility?
Oh, I will be like brought in through beneath the stadium on a Zeppelin.
Yeah.
That's how fucking
An underground Zeppelin.
Okay, well, I'll hook you up with the guy who, because the facility is unbelievable. They have this football facility that is just, it's insane. Basically, instead of paying the players, they put a bowling alley and all these perks in there to be like, hey, isn't this fun? It's like, well, it would be fun if they got paid. But I like Clemson. I shouldn't have said that. I fucked up. All right, so what
you misspoke.
Yeah, misspoke. That was a totally, you know what? It was because I bet on Clemson and they didn't cover the spread. That's why I didn't like Clemson.
Yeah, you had a little axe to grind.
Great
but you're
tailgate.
mature enough now that you're a father.
It was too hot.
See?
Yeah, I am mature now. It was too hot there when I went, but it's going to be nice and cool. It's going to be mid-October. You're going to be beautiful.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
Thank you.
What are the most recent when we last?
I believed 80% of that.
When you had, I'll tell you after when you had